Hi everyone, Ani here. So today we're going to be doing another crime segment. Today is a pretty recent crime segment, but the crime itself took place over 40 years ago. We'll be talking about a man by the name of David Venables, otherwise known by his farm workers as Dirty David. The following content contains adult language, descriptions of crime/crime scenes, and graphic detail. Viewer discretion is advised. So let's get into it. So, we begin with David and Brenda. David and Brenda were married in Rush Rock in 1960. At that time, David was 25 and Brenda was 23. People described David as a ladies' man and wasn't happy with settling down with just one woman. Brenda, on the other hand, was described as being a typical housewife and wanted children. The couple moved into Quaking House Farm, which was gifted to him by his father. The property consisted of 440 acres and was a pig farm. It didn't take long for David to become dissatisfied with his marriage. After being together for 10 years, David decided to begin his affairs with many women. Perhaps because of the affairs, the couple would not end up having children. This is only speculation though. One of his former farm hands said David was one of the rich bosses, a guy in a small village. It wasn't like he was a good-looking guy. I think the ladies were seduced by his power. The last lady that David was with was a woman by the name of Lorraine Stiles. The affair with Ms. Stiles began around 1967 and would continue over the years. In 1981, though, it sort of came to a head. Lorraine felt that David's feelings weren't as strong for her as she'd like them to be. And in 1981, it sort of came to a head. Lorraine felt that David's feelings for her weren't as strong as she wanted them to be. But David proved her wrong in Christmas of that year and into the next year by rekindling the affair. Despite the affairs, David and Brenda would be married for 21 years. David was also known for his control over Brenda's life, including things like refusing her medical treatment and controlling every aspect that he could. Ultimately, in 2017, Lorraine, his last affair, well, he actually had one affair after Lorraine, but the timeline's a little bit messed up. In 2017, Lorraine, one of the people that he was having an affair with, David was having an affair with, she would pass away. But before she did, she decided that she was going to give a statement to detectives. But this was back in 1984 when she gave her statement. In her statement, Ms. Stiles would say that David's wife, Brenda, felt betrayed by him because of the affairs. Lorraine, would continue to say that 2 weeks after Brenda disappeared, David would call her and try to have sex. Ms. Stiles would also say that she did not understand why David was being so calm about Brenda's disappearance and would just watch the television about her being missing. Afterwards, he would start making sexual advances towards her. She refused quite a few times, and finally she reciprocated. In 1982, David would be found walking in the arms of another woman, and that would basically end the affair between Lorraine and David. Now, what exactly happened to Brenda? According to David, on the morning of May 4th, 1982, his wife, who was 48 at the time, disappeared. David would also go to the police station and submit a missing persons report. He said that he searched part of the river Severn for her, but he said he couldn't find her. He later, the piece of shit, decided that he was going to blame Fred West, a serial killer, for the death of his wife. It was easy for him to blame Fred because he lived in a town not too far away. The entire time from 1982 until 2019, Brenda was considered a missing person. For the next 32 years, David continued to live at the same farm that he and his wife had shared. It wasn't until 2019 that he would sell the property to his nephew. During that time, though, he was still busy doing his 14-year affair with Ms. Stiles. The truth about what happened with Brenda was that David murdered her. He put her body in a septic tank and weighed her down with a manhole cover. Periodically, David would drain the tank that her body was in and use the material mixed with slurry from the pig farm on his fields. He knew that putting her in a septic tank was the best course of action because even if someone was to look inside the tank, her body would still be hidden. For nearly 40 years, David got away with murder, but in 2019, Brenda's body was discovered in the septic tank. The tank was drained by David's nephew, Andrew Venables, and upon draining the septic tank, they would find Brenda's skull and other bones. So, what would the verdict be? David would be convicted of murder on July 15, 2022. The jury would rule that he was guilty of murder. He was convicted in a 10-2 verdict. It took the jury 16 hours and 43 minutes over 4 days to convict him. He will serve a mandatory life sentence. This has been a really rough story to cover because had they not drained that tank, he would have really gotten away with murder. He was 89 whenever he was convicted. It's horrible that things came to the way that they did, but I'm glad that they found Brenda and they were able to give the family peace that, you know, where she is. And this one was a really hard one to cover, to be honest. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Nevertheless, if you did, please like it and comment and subscribe. It would really mean a lot. Thank you guys so much for everything, and I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.